Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our second week of the 2022 legislative session and our climate dispatch. We are really so happy and thankful to have Senator Chris Pearson here with us today. Senator Pearson plays many important roles, including serving as the co-chair of the Climate Solutions Caucus, a really powerful, increasingly important caucus in the Vermont legislature. His other co-chair, Representative Sarah Hansis, is not going to be able to join us today. She is on the floor. And what that means, I think, for all of us is that our legislators are already hard at work, back at it in this still, sadly, virtual session. But that's not going to stop them, and it's certainly not going to stop us in partnership with climate allies and long-term leaders like Senator Pearson and making long overdue climate progress this session. So we have a lot of priorities on our plate. And again, thankfully, the leadership of this increasingly strong legislative caucus who is really going to be pivotal to making progress this session. So Senator Pearson, I know you had your first Climate Solutions Caucus meeting yesterday. Tell us a little bit more about, where the Climate Solutions Caucus is at, when you'll be meeting, the priorities you've identified thus far, if you have, and how we can support your efforts. And thanks again for joining us today, Senator.
Yeah, thanks, Joey. Appreciate it. And I know Sarah's sad she can't be with us, but she handed me the baton here. So glad to do it. We are juggling a lot. I've never really seen, I've been in the legislature for the better part of 15 years, and I've never seen a session like this where, of course, during a pandemic, but with a bigger backlog of priorities and crises really at hand. And the climate is no exception to the really, what I have been saying is sort of decades of deferred social maintenance in a big way. Anyway, the Climate Solutions Caucus is up over 80 members out of 180 in the House and Senate altogether. And we try to make sure that climate remains a priority in the swirl of a legislative session, which lasts the better part of 4 months, 4.5 months, a year. Keep climate as a priority, and also make sure that people understand what we're working on in the legislature, because legislators get to serve, as you know, on 1 or 2 committees, and that's where the focus of your work is, and the knowledge that the expertise you have ends up being ingrained in your committee assignment. And so all of a sudden you're on the floor, in the House floor, Senate floor, and going, what is this climate bill? I'm sort of pro-climate, but I've been hearing that blah, blah, blah. So the Climate Solutions Caucus tries to keep our own members educated about what's happening, keeps our eye on the moving parts, helps hopefully communicate some of that with the public through, we stream our meetings now that they're virtual at people can find them on YouTube at VT Climate Caucus, and VT Climate Caucus on Facebook and Twitter as well. And I think vtclimatecaucus.org is our website. You can sign up for our newsletter. We're underway with a bang this year, as you well know, and thank you for your service on the Climate Council, coming out of the Global Warming Solutions Bill and Act. The December 1st Climate Action Plan for the state is really informing our work. We're trying to make sure we don't miss parts that were included there, directions to the legislature of really how we can act collectively as a state to hit those emission reduction targets. So it's everything from transportation priorities to beefing up weatherization, to a clean heat standard so that we transition away from fossil fuels in heating our homes. A host of things that you all have been instrumental in teaching me about and in educating the state. I will say I'm excited because it seems like it's shifting where there's not the same concern that we would do this work at the expense of our economy. It's kind of shifting where people are like, oh my God, this is the way to have a strong economy, is to reduce our dependency on fossil fuels, to stop exporting all of those energy dollars and look for more homegrown solutions, keep the money in our economy, localize our food production, on and on and on. We are starting to see a deep understanding that everything from solar panels to composting our food waste can have a benefit right here to our local economy. And we have to be mindful about what it means to different strata of our economy and Vermonters across the board. But I do feel like that's an important shift that is rather exciting and should be recognize the opportunities that some of these solutions mean to Vermonters, to our life and our communities and our economy. So I'm rather excited, I would say.
That is so great, and totally agree. And I think one example of some of the change we've seen this week, House leadership held a press conference where they pulled together both from the House leadership team and key chairs of committees where a lot of these decisions are going to be made, talking about the urgency of climate action, their commitment to acting on the climate action plan, and the opportunities that they see in doing so, and how it's going to help Vermonters save money on their energy bills and all the things that we've been talking about for years. So seeing that traction is really exciting. So, we're going to be rolling out more details, a lot of the priorities that Senator Pearson just ran through, so that you all can start really digging in, as we know many of our people like to, on the details. We'll be putting out the environmental common agenda in the next week or so. So look for that, where we'll really be laying out, as we get to know the bill numbers and all that, for some of these key priorities and the things that we know we need to move on in 2022 to be on track for the Climate Action Plan and our Global Warming Solutions Act commitments. So we always like to end these with a call to action. And this week, we really just urge you to take a moment to contact your legislators and let them know that climate is a priority, that you're watching, you care, that there's opportunity in acting and urgency in acting. I think just a quick note, there's so much going on, as Senator Pearson started, just the incredible suite of issues that people are wrestling with. So just keeping this top of mind for people as one of the things that needs to be a priority, I think would be great. We've just got to keep up the momentum, I think, throughout this session to stay on track. So that quick moment you can take to send a few messages would go a long way. So let's do that. And hope you all have a great weekend. Thank you again so much, Senator Pearson, for joining us today and for your invaluable leadership on the Climate Solutions Caucus and in so many other ways. Thanks, Joey. And we'll be back with you next week. Take care.